These latest headlines from ABC15 are sponsored by Lerner and Rowe Injury Attorneys. One call, that's all.
I'm Faye Fredericks with your top stories from ABC15 Arizona. A historic ruling from the Arizona Supreme Court on abortion access in our state. ABC 15 combing through the official opinion. The justice's ruling to reinforce a near total ban on abortions in a law that was created in 1864, before Arizona was even a state. The law does allow for exceptions, but only if the mother's life is in danger. Governor Katie Hobbs speaking out shortly after the decision.
Like millions of women across Arizona, I am reeling from the Supreme Court's callous decision to uphold the 1864 total abortion ban. This archaic law, which was written by men 48 years before Arizona even became a state, threatens the lives of countless women and strips us of control over our bodies.
Governor Hobbs going on to speak about her personal experience of losing a pregnancy and promising to support a woman's decision on her right to abortion. Other Democratic leaders also speaking out on the ban.
Make no mistake, every Republican in the House and Senate voted in support of fetal personhood legislation, the same type of legislation that opened the door for the ruling in Alabama. Republicans here in Arizona are complicit. They are complicit in this ban and in a nationwide attempt to ban access to the range of reproductive health care, from contraception to abortion to IVF.
Mayor Kate Gallego using the moment to endorse President Biden, saying today should send a clear message to Arizonans to, quote, restore Roe and protect abortion rights once and for all. We must re-elect President Biden, unquote. She goes on to say we will work together to ensure Donald Trump and those threatening women's reproductive freedoms are resoundingly defeated. White House also releasing a statement from President Biden on the decision today, saying the ruling is, quote, a result of the extreme agenda of Republican elected officials who are committed to ripping away women's freedoms. President Biden also saying he and Vice President Harris stand by the Arizonans who support a woman's right to choose and will continue to fight to protect reproductive rights. Now, meanwhile, former Governor Doug Ducey, who oversaw the passage of the 2022 abortion restrictions, the 15-week limit, weighing in this morning, saying in part that the 15-week ban was something Arizonans can actually agree on. Ducey going on to say the ruling today is not the outcome he would have preferred, and said he calls on elected officials to address the issue. Senate candidate Kari Lake, meanwhile, also opposing today's ruling. She says she's calling on Governor Hobbs and the state legislature to, quote, come up with an immediate common sense solution that Arizonans can support. Lake also saying she agrees with former President Donald Trump that this is, quote, a very personal issue that should be determined by each individual state and her people, and that Arizona voters will make the ultimate decision on the November ballot. Important to note, when Lake was running for Arizona governor, she backed the 1864 law. Senate candidate Ruben Gallego also speaking today, calling the ruling devastating for Arizona women and their families, saying, quote, extremist politicians like Kari Lake are forcing themselves into doctors' offices and ripping away the right for women to make their own health care decisions. Arizona Attorney General Chris Mays, meanwhile, says she plans to take legal action on this decision.
My office is as we speak, discussing what our next steps are, whether that is appealing this decision to the United States Supreme Court, whether that is taking the opportunity that it would appear the court gave me in taking this decision and the constitutional questions that remain back down to the Superior Court. So the issue is not over with. The 1864 ban is not yet fully litigated.
With your most accurate forecast, I'm meteorologist Jorge Torres. The warming trend continues for your Wednesday, starting off with temperatures in the morning in the valley in the upper 50s with clear skies, and we remain sunny for the rest of the afternoon with temperatures at 80 degrees by midday and forecasting a high just shy of 90, calling for a high of 88 here in the valley. Northern Arizona highs will stay in the 60s for areas like Flagstaff, Heber, and Sholo, 70s throughout Gila County, and across western Arizona, some areas will hit the 90s, including Lake Havasu City and Yuma. But in the valley, we're not forecasting our our first 90-degree day until Thursday, calling for a high of 94. And the warming trend continues for Friday with a high of 94 as well. 90 for the weekend, but turning breezy and cooler for early next week, with the highs back in the 70s in the valley with lows in the 50s. But the forecast for at least the valley remains dry. In the high country, different story, with those highs staying in the 60s all the way through Saturday, with another chance of rain Saturday through Monday, and a cool down as well, with highs in the 50s and lows in the 30s.